Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of our audio series for women CFOs, entrepreneurs, all my lady bosses out there. Hey, Benita Tyler here, and today I am bringing you some tips and answers to your frequently asked questions. I know that we're getting ready to roll right into the new tax season. And many of you took that advice that we were talking about last year, when we were saying get multiple streams of income. Well, I want to congratulate you. Yay! Congratulations on moving forward to pick up those what they say, those crumbs that are on the floor, right? We leave no money on the table here at the Women CFO podcast. And when we find something that fits our ideal and fits within our time and fits within our talent, we make plans to go for it. And so now that you have become an independent contractor, those of you that are listening for maybe services like Uber or Lyft, you actually are in a position to have your own business. And we all know what that means, right? Having our own business, there are some perks to that, especially for those of you that are working from home. Well, today we are going to be talking about some of the things that you may be able to deduct as an independent contractor so that you are not doing what? Leaving money on the table? Because we don't believe in that. We are savvy. We are smart when it comes to tax savings. And you know what? Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so today, what I want to do is just highlight one of the biggest overlooked tax deductions there is when you are in this particular industry. And that is, of course, the vehicle that you're driving, that asset that you're using to take your passengers to and from their destination. So want to make sure that you are claiming all of the deductions, all of the expenses that you can, because the things that are legally required, um, that you can legally take under the law. So we want to start off with what you are paying to have that asset. So if you have acquired this asset through maybe a loan that you got from your credit union, the bank, you are able to take those loan payments and write off the interest that you're paying, not the actual principal, but the interest that you're paying on those loans. You should talk with your tax advisor, also, or your accountant, to make sure that to see if you can actually claim the cost of the purchase. So there are some rules and regulations around that, but you may be able to take up to the full price of that as a Section 129 tax deduction. But make sure that you get some advice and some counsel before you include that amount on your tax return. But for sure, you definitely can claim the interest that you're paying on top of the principal for your vehicle. Another thing that you may want to consider is for those of you that are not purchasing your vehicle, whether it's your car or a van or a truck. If you're not purchasing that, and you may be leasing it, so those lease payments are going to be what you're going to claim in lieu of loan payments. So you will have lease payments that you can write off. Then you have the insurance, right? So you are driving. I know that Lyft and Uber requires that you have insurance. So, before you became an independent contractor, you weren't able to claim the insurance if you didn't have your own business. Now that you are, providing a service as an independent contractor, that insurance amount is going to be an expense that your business can claim. So make sure that you're taking an insurance expense. Then if you have the next category is maintenance. So I know that I get a lot of people who, when I'm sitting down with them and I tell them, well, did you get any car washes last year? How about did you get the vehicle detailed? What did you do to maintain your vehicle last year? And people are surprised by, they those amounts really do add up. Just assume that you get your vehicle washed every weekend, right? It's 52 weeks out of a year. And if it's $10 a pop, that's $520 that you may have missed when you didn't have a small business. But now that you do, you definitely get to claim those maintenance costs, those detailing. Because you want your passengers to feel comfortable, and you want to stand out above the rest. So you want to keep your vehicle well maintained and attractive so that they'll call you back, right? Then you have your repairs. So if you had any repairs to your car or your vehicle last year, maybe you got new tires, maybe the engine went out, maybe you just needed some new wipers, right? Oil changes, all of these fall under the category of repairs. So you would be able to claim the repair costs in your when filing your tax return. So make sure that you're keeping those receipts, guys. Make sure that you are, either if you're paying by cash, that you're getting a physical receipt so that you'll have something to track, or do as I always say, in lieu of cash, pay for everything with your company's debit card, because I understand. Make sure that you understand that we're going to keep business and personal transactions separate. So you should have a business credit card or a business debit card that you're using to cover those expenses in your company, or even if you're still doing it the old-fashioned way and you're writing checks. So make sure that you are doing that. And then last but not least, well, not last, but one of the last things is your vehicle registration. So every single year you get that notice where you have to renew your license plates and your licenses and your tabs, the vehicle registration. Those costs, guys, are now tax deductible. Again, these are some of the things that you may not have been able to write off fully as a person who, maybe you had a job somewhere and you didn't get a chance to take those automobile costs. So automobile vehicle costs, this is a big category. Again, we want to be mindful that we are doing everything that's within the compliance of tax rules, so that you are able to reduce your taxes and pay the least amount of taxes that you have to pay under the law. And speaking of that, as we wrap up, one thing that we definitely want to make sure that you do is take your mileage. As you're driving, those miles are really racking up. So mileage is, again, one of those I would say overlooked deductions. People, because it's an administrative. It could be an administrative, I would say headache, but it could really take a lot of your time. So what I would recommend is that you download an app. It's called Mile IQ. Mile and the letters I and Q. Look for it on your smart devices, on your iPads. These are things that it's an app that you can even download to your cell phone, and it will, once you download it, you set it up and it runs for you in the background. It keeps track of all of those trips that you're making. The only thing that you're going to have to do is tell it what part of those miles are for business purposes. Now, if you're using your vehicle 100% for business, then your task is going to be a whole lot simpler than those that are using it for maybe a part-time job, right? A part-time gig, part-time driving and taxi and limo services. So make sure that you are keeping on top of your mileage, and make sure that you are able to that it passes the muster test. So if you were, always think of, if you were sitting in front of an IRS agent and your tax return was being audited, can you prove the miles that you claim? And you definitely can do that when you use a program or software like Mile IQ. So guys, that is it for our Cutting Your Taxes on Taxi Driving Income. I am going to be talking in future videos about cutting taxes as independent contractors, but this specifically is something that I wanted to shed some light on, because vehicle, that's your major expense. And don't forget your gas. So as you're paying for gas, that's something that I did not mention earlier, but of course you have to fuel up. So make sure that you're keeping track of the fuel costs for the transportation that you're providing. Stay tuned for more audio series. We'll be coming back with more tips just like these every single week. And the resources that I listed are going to be in the description to this audio series so that you can follow up and make sure that you're doing your due diligence and making sure that you are a good steward over your company's finances. So, guys, until next time, I always would like to leave you with the thought, the hands of the diligent, they bear maketh rich, right? And so we want to make sure that you are staying on top of your finances and doing everything possible that will allow you to be able to live confidently, have clear view of where you're going, and be in control of your finances. So until next time, everybody, this is Benita Tyler signing off and saying bye-bye.